with something that I think is also important about facts, because recently on your show here,
I was just going to get to that.
Good. Helping you out.
You want me to ask you the question?
No, look, some of you have accused me of being a traitor to my country, a Russian asset, a Trojan horse, or a useful idiot, I think was the term that you used. Which basically means that I'm naive or lack intelligence to know what's going on.
They use that.
I want to let your viewers know exactly who I am.
All right.
Set the record straight. I am a patriot. I love our country. I am a strong and intelligent woman of color, and I have dedicated almost my entire adult life to protecting the safety, security, and the freedom of all Americans in this country.
This was not a good showing for The View. This was a horrendous showing for The View. And there's an irony in calling Tulsi Gabbard a useful idiot, in the sense that you are essentially working on the propaganda that is pushed to you by a woman that literally lost a reality show host and was, as Tulsi Gabbard put it, the queen of warmongers. Joy Behar should be ashamed of herself. I mean, this is the woman that started screaming like a maniac when she believed the fake news that CNN was putting out, saying that Trump was doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing. Go back and look at that show. She looks like a fucking idiot. I guess my point is, using the term useful idiot in the context where you are being a useful idiot is weird and poetic in some sense. I did the polling the other day showing that Bernie Sanders was ascendant. That one poll after the next had him growing 5 points in this poll, 5 points in that poll. But that is not within a vacuum. He is running in the context of a contest, and there are multiple people in the race. And if Sanders going up, this is, after all, a zero-sum game. There are going to be some people, for the most part, who are locked into their votes. And the majority of Sanders people, for the most part, are locked into their votes. There's going to be a section that is uncertain about the person who they're going with, and you'll see movement in the race according to such. But if Sanders is going up, don't others have to be going down? Especially if some of them are similar within temperament of Sanders. Or for that matter, even if they aren't. I am going to give you the recent polling, but I will clue you in, especially people who are supportive of Tulsi Gabbard. On November 20th, she will be on the debate stage. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal Patron. Also, I haven't forgot about the Patron Appreciation Show. I was trying to wait till Miss Thomas could get involved, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So that is going to just be me, and I will give you a specific date for it for this week. Next week will still be on Sunday. Also, coming up at 2 p.m., Action for Assange activists and journalists will be here to discuss what is going on with Assange and things that we could do to organize around assisting in that process. But for right now, let's look at polling, let's look at trends, and let's look at the real world consequences of that polling. Last time, I showed you this. I didn't make a show out of it, but I showed you this. Biden, down 4. Biden, down 2. Biden, down 1. Warren, same post. Down 2, down 5, down 1, meaning for NBC, Monmouth, and Fox. Conversely, Sanders, up 5 in NBC and Monmouth, and up 2 in Fox. Now, the Monmouth poll is an A-rated poll. If I'm not mistaken, Wall Street Journal poll is also. The thing I want to point out to you, though, is this. Electability, and this is from Monmouth. Now, if you remember, Biden made electability the crux of his campaign. I'm the guy that can beat Trump like a drum. I can beat him like a drum. I can beat him like a drum. Now, assuming Biden can remember where he is at the time when he's talking about beating him like a drum, he has a point. There's something about the way that Biden engages with people that's somewhat affable. However, that affability and that electability has limits. And if your argument is, I am more electable than these other people, that's air. Electability is, to some degree, synonymous with air. You're electable because people think you're electable. That doesn't mean anything. They also thought Hillary Clinton was inevitable. Not so much. Not so much. And if you are hinging your argument on being more electable, well, look at this. Warren has edged up to 7.1. Sanders at 7.0. That's a 0.5 jump for Sanders. I mean, just within the course of the last poll for Mama. My point is this. In the various states, Sanders has jumped either in second place or in the lead, or in spitting distance of the lead. The Monmouth poll, for example, they thought Sanders was out of it, and yet he's jumped up to number 2 in the poll. And beyond that point, even in Iowa, they thought Sanders was out of contention. He jumped into number 2. I guess I'm saying, in the states that are coming up, Sanders is in a great position, either in the lead or in spitting distance of the lead. And they thought he was out of contention. Not so much, not so much. This is... Where is it? I guess my point is this. As this edges off in the race, and people get closer to Biden with this notion of quote-unquote electability, Biden will start having more and more problems in legitimizing why he would get this lead. Look at this. This is Mama. November, 23%. Elizabeth Warren, 23%. Sanders, 2%. He's jumped into the, you could say, second or third spot just because the other two are in the lead. But the last Monmouth poll has Sanders at 15%. As Biden's electability edges off, and not even edge off. The problem with electability is people can say, I think this guy's more electable. But I also think this guy more is electable. And he has better ideas. Electability hinges on this notion that you are the one that can most beat Trump. But the moment that you have other people with vision and other people with a clear crowd and numbers and money and revenue and all of this other stuff, then the electability argument gets a little bit more dodgy. This guy also seems to be more electable, and this guy has all of these other qualities that you don't have. Joe Biden's argument is falling apart the more other people consider other people electable in the race. Quinnipiac. This is the new poll from Quinnipiac. Look at this. Look at this. Same trends, by the way. I know the polling has been all over the place recently, but the trends themselves are holding out. This notion of a cluster at the top. Sanders, Biden, and Warren. This is Quinnipiac polling, another A-rated poll. Warren, 20%. Sanders, 17%. Biden, 15%. And Buttigieg, 19%. So Warren and Buttigieg, and then Sanders. All of them are clustered at the top. Biden has dropped to 4th. Now, this is consistent with other polling, showing that Biden is in 4th place, with the other 3 kind of in this kind of, split for second and third. First, second, and third. But look at this also. Tulsi. Where's Tulsi? Right here. You know what that is? That's called qualifying for the debates. That's what that's called. The Quinnipiac poll is a poll that is accepted by the DNC, and it's one of those polls that allows her to be accepted into the race. That means on November 20th, Tulsi Gabbard will be accepted into the Democratic debates. It has not been made entirely official yet, but the polling allows that to be so. And I wanted to make sure I was right about this on Quinnipiac. Gabbard made the November debate stage by getting 3% in a new Quinnipiac poll, having previously hit the mark in 3 other DNC-approved polls, according to political tracking. Gabbard has also accrued 165,000 donors necessary to qualify for the November debates. Congratulations, Tulsi Gabbard. You will be on the debate stage. And again, Sanders is my guy, so congratulations to Sanders for raising or coming back from the dead like Lazarus. And I have to be honest, if you're a Sanders supporter, you should be feeling fucking lovely right now. I mean, ultimately, your guy has got a slew of endorsements, has come out of a heart attack like a bat out of hell, and has been on fire recently, selling out stadiums, getting more money than the other candidates. If he keeps this momentum, and he is strong in that November debate, you will see this persist. He has a chance. He has a chance. But understand what I mean by that. For the first time in your lifetime, or for the first time in my lifetime, there's a candidate who we back, meaning who is getting money not in the sense of a dodgy way, but is getting money from us. I mean, this basic virtue of whoever is paying you is for the most part the people who you are going to represent. And I understand that some Democrats, meaning like the Obama types, were able to convince the grassroots to give him a lot of cash. But that was a little different. This is a true believer. And this is a true believer what people are giving their funds to, with this notion that he will represent them, not this other class. And a testament to that is this other class doesn't give him money. They don't give him money like that. All right. Oh, by the way, like I said, Action for Assange will be here after this. I don't want to keep this one long. I just wanted to give a heads up. She destroyed Joe Behar. Yeah, that's going to be a video by itself. I just wanted to show that brief part because I am going to cover that video after the Action for Assange video. I showed that video because I wanted to make the point that Tulsi Gabbard got two good things. A, she got to confront slimy, useful idiots of Clinton and the Democratic Party, Joy Behar, and the other elements of The View, but also her strategy, campaign-wise. Whatever you want to think of it, she's found her lane. She's found her lane. She needs to send a thank you letter to Hillary Clinton. But also, I don't know if people have been paying attention, Gabbard is taking a slightly different tact with her political strategy. Initially, it was, I'm a soldier, I want to stop these regime change wars. That hasn't stopped. She hasn't edged up on that. But she's found another lane to accentuate that. On The View, they kind of make this big issue. Why do you always go on Tucker Carlson? Why do you go on this person and that person? It's because when I come to shows like this, you act like fucking idiots. That's why. Meaning, when I go on Fox, they give me a fair hearing. When Sanders went on Fox, they gave him a fair hearing. It's not so much that I think Fox is fair and balanced. I don't think that in the least. I think they're working for their team. However, if you, as a person, go on shows like MSNBC and just get slandered and smeared, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that? As opposed to going on somewhere like Fox that, whatever you want to think of them, gives you a fair hearing and even a fair debate. When she's debating, the members on Fox, because they're on board for these regime change wars, go back, look at those videos. Videos where she's like, yeah, I'm against that, and this is why I'm against that. And they argue legitimately. Have you seen what takes place for MSNBC? This wasn't something I planned to show immediately. But to give you an example of what she has to deal with when she goes on MSNBC. You guys asked her the exact same question that she's been answering for the same week and has been answering the question in the exact same way, and you still felt it necessary to ask her, are you going to form a third party? Are you going to form a third party? That's why she doesn't come on your show. That's why she doesn't waste her time on MSNBC and she goes on Fox. And irony of ironies, she gets a fairer hearing. She gets a fairer hearing. I'm going to end this because I have to get ready for the video that's coming up with Action for Assange. But to give you an example, just one example of what she has to deal with when she goes to MSNBC and why she doesn't go on MSNBC. There was an interview, and you can't barely call it an interview, where is it? Maybe I can't. Right here. This is MSNBC. This is why Gabbard doesn't waste her time on MSNBC.
In the Wall Street Journal
And by the way, just to make a point, Behar is like, why don't you go on so-and-so show? She's on this propaganda outlet right here, Joy.
On Tuesday, and here's part of how it went. I can defeat Trump in the Clinton doctrine, in which you write, whether Mrs. Clinton's name is on the ballot or not, her foreign policy will be, as many of the Democratic candidates adhere to her doctrine of acting as the world's police, using the tools of war to overthrow governments we don't like, wasting taxpayer dollars, costing American lives, causing suffering and destruction abroad, and undermining America's security. there are those who would suggest, look, the Russians don't want the United States to be America's police as well. So when, the Americans to be the world police. So what is your message to Democratic voters who may see this, may be listening to you right now and feel that it mirrors President Trump's isolationist foreign policy views?
I think the American people are smarter.
Yeah. Think about what this woman asks. All of this lead in. Hey, the Russians don't want America to be the world's police force either. And, something about Trump. So what would you say to Americans that think that? Think about what this woman is asking. She believes that Russia should be the dictator of your foreign policy. How stupid is that? And she's like, Tulsi's saying, I don't want to be in these regime change wars. I don't want to be supporting terrorists. I want to bring our troops home out of these wars. I want to stop spending trillions of dollars, dumping it into weapons contractors just for the sake of geopolitical and economic interests. Her response is, yeah, but Russia prefers that foreign policy also. And if Russia likes that policy, shouldn't you be against it reflexively because Russia likes it? And Gabbard's response, I think America is smarter than that. What she wants to say, I think America is smarter than you. I think most people are smarter than this woman. This woman gets paid millions of dollars to sit here and say this nonsense. Hey, something about Russia, something about Trump. What do you have to say about that? It's astonishing. Why should a foreign power dictate our foreign policy? Think about what we're saying here. That somebody's saying we shouldn't support terrorists and we want to bring our troops home. And they're like, the Russians are like that. Fuck, I care about what the Russians like. My interest is what is in the best interest of the United States. And I don't give a shit about what Russia thinks if it is in the best interest of the United States. People of the United States, not a 1% that gets rich off of that nonsense, but us. Our foreign policy is not the tool of interventionists, or at the very least it shouldn't be. Our troops don't put that uniform on in order to knock over governments for the shits and giggles of the various 1%ers in power that make money off of these bombs or make money off these weapons. Or geopoliticians who will just want to play with the world as if it's a chessboard. I don't give a shit. What is in our best interests? And you're asking her, hey, Russia wants you to bring the troops home, and Trump, something about Trump. What do you say to people who say that, Russia likes that? Her response, I think the American public is smarter than that. Ellipsis, smarter than you. Smarter than you. This is what she deals with every time she goes on MSNBC. You don't believe me? Look up the interviews between Tulsi and MSNBC. And then do a secondary check on the interviews between Tulsi and Fox. They are far more interesting on Fox. And they let her get her opinion out and argue in a more of an honest way, oddly enough, on Fox. The View did itself no favors with this interview. The View, that was an embarrassing interview. All right, I need to go. Robert, you see Michael Brooks and Abby talk about Tulsi. I did not. I would think Abby Martin would be for Tulsi. Abby's against these interventionist foreign policy objectives. Michael Brooks, he's just a propaganda piece for Democratic Party. Don't misunderstand me. Cedar and Brooks, if you get the right candidate in, all of us will be on the same page. Cedar and Brooks are pushing whole hog for Sanders because I think within them there's this lefty that wants to get out, that is unconstrained from the party itself. But I think they, for the most part, believe that the only way you can deal with this stuff is within the context of party politics. And so they end up just kind of falling in line with whatever the Democratic Party wants, with the caveat of primaries and with trying to get their guy in office. Meaning, I think in their heads, you're stuck within party politics. And you have to kind of vacillate within the political space, even if that makes you say weird things and be against people who you shouldn't be against. Brooks is out there voter shaming right now. I didn't get the opportunity to do that video. Abby ain't for Tulsi, do the movie. Oh, interesting. Jay Vale, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, it's what it is. But nevertheless, the logic still applies. Abbott did a great video exposing Trump and Clinton, saying Assange should be killed. I don't believe. Oh, right. How is that anti-Assange? I don't think she's anti-Assange. Yeah, I don't think she's anti-Assange. All right, I got to go. But what I said still applies. I think they're in their heads of party politics. Again, with one caveat. Sanders. If Sanders gets it, I think all of us are on the same page. I've seen her put something out one day and I was like, God, if Sanders doesn't get it, Cedar's going to be out here telling people to vote Joe Biden. And that will be sad. But right now, everybody's on the same page. Sanders needs to win. Sanders needs to win. Like, share, subscribe. I'll be back momentarily. Thanks all.